My name is Brianna, and this is the Mama Knows Not a podcast. Today, I have a long-lost friend who has relocated to Germany. Her husband's in the military, so she's going to talk to us all about what that was like from living in Pennsylvania to jumping ship across the pond. So this is Brooke. Welcome to the Mama Knows podcast, Brooke. I'm just going to dive right into it. When you and your husband were discussing this opportunity, or I don't know if it was a directive to go to Germany, what was that like for you?
He switched jobs in the military. So when the jobs opened up for him, initially it was Italy. And we were all pumped about Italy and going to Naples. And then the weekend in March, when COVID shut like everything down, from Thursday it was Italy. And then by Tuesday, Italy was off the table and Germany opened up. And my first thought was like, let's go, because Germany's centrally located. You can go see a lot more different areas. So we were on board.
You were just, let's go on this adventure.
Yeah, he actually, the only reason we're here is because I wanted to come.
Well, that's supportive of both of you. Like you supporting his career and him supporting your comfortability. Like jumping foreign countries. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but my husband's British and he finds things about America super difficult. And we speak the same language, So going from, I mean, you grew up and lived in Pennsylvania, I think, for most of your life, and then to Germany, I think that, and the fact that you were all about it, like, that's incredible. What was the hardest part of the actual move? Like the logistics and, especially moving in COVID, that couldn't have been easy by any means.
I would say the hardest part was just figuring out what we were going to bring, what not to bring, getting over there, figuring out the quarantine situation, how we were going to get food in a hotel for 2 weeks, cell phones, cable, I mean, all that stuff.
Was so different. Now, did you have to stay in the hotel for 2 weeks, like not leave the room with your kids?
Yes.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
We were lucky enough. We had, we found a hotel that had what's called a family suite. So the kids had their own room with their own TV. And we actually had like we were on the first floor. So we had a little backyard type thing. So they went out there and they ran around. As long as we weren't around anyone, they were fine. And having that extra bedroom with the TV worked wonders.
Oh my God, that sounds it. Now, how did you get food in the hotel?
There's an app that we had to order delivery almost every night. We didn't have like a kitchen at all. So we had like cereal and whatnot and some milk. We had a fridge, but every night for dinner we had to order out. Which we jumped right into that German cuisine too.
Was it like bratwurst and like stuff like that? She just like.
Well, the first thing we tried that we really liked was the schnitzel.
Ooh, yeah.
But then we just kind of resorted back to our American ways and ordered pizza and wings most of the time.
I mean, you can't go wrong with pizza and wings ever. Like, it is you are.
But they don't put a lot of pepperonis on their pizza. They put salami on their pizza.
Oh, interesting.
So that was a change. The kids loved it. My husband liked it. So.
What else? Oh, now you're moved into a house or something. I'm assuming you're settled.
Yeah.
Now, what's it like for you living in Germany? Like, is it a struggle to meet people, or have you found it easy because there's a military network? What's it like?
We live on base, which is a huge help. We were contemplating before we left on whether we wanted to live on base or off base. My husband's job kind of requires us to live on base. So there's actually 4 different mini bases that make up our larger base. So it was essentially, well, which one are you going to get? Luckily, we were given the base that has the most on it, I guess you could say. The kids' school is like 3/4 of a mile away, so they have to walk every day. So it's not too bad.
Oh, that's awesome. And so,
And there's, I mean,
go ahead.
Our building is stairwell living, which not a big fan, but I mean, it is what it is. It makes us appreciate our homes back home a little bit more.
Oh man.
But there's parks everywhere, so the kids can go outside, and there's a park in front of the building and one behind the building, and that's a really easy way to meet new moms and friends. And we have a plethora of Facebook groups where you can meet people and whatnot.
And has that worked for you?
I'm not super outgoing when it comes to that kind of thing. I kind of just stand back and wait for the opportune moment to kind of meet someone.
Organic.
I started working at the kids' school just because the first couple of weeks being at home by myself, I mean, I just binged Netflix all day and I needed to get out of the house. So me working there, that's how I got to get to know a little bit more people.
Oh, so that's pretty cool, because I was going to ask you about that. Is it an American school? Like, do they speak English, or is it like German speaking?
No, it's a DoD school.
Okay.
So it's American. And they all speak English. And actually, my son's first day of school, he was really nervous. He goes, "Mommy, are they going to speak German there?" And I said, "No, sweetie." I said, "It's all American." Because when we were still in the hotel, we were in the hotel for almost 4 weeks. And once we were able to get out and roam about, there's so many different parks that are around in Germany. And we would walk to the one park that wasn't too far away, but the preschool would also go there. And the preschoolers would try to communicate with my kids, and they would just look at me like, "What do I say?"
Nice.
So he was a little nervous. So
Nein Deutsch, nein Deutsch. Like, that's all I would say. That's all I know. Oh, and my sister speaks German fluently, but I'm like, what is happening? Now, have you learned any German from being there? Like, conversation?
We've learned a few key phrases. It's really hard. It's not like French or Spanish where it's like they have different letters and different sounds, and it's difficult.
I feel the same way. My husband would disagree with me, but I think it's tough. So what has been the hardest part for your children, the adjustment?
I think the hardest part for them was Virginia Beach, which is where we came from, was the only place that they knew of as being home. So there are local restaurants, our local ice cream places. That was home for them, and they missed that quite a bit. Especially my son. He kept asking, "Mommy, when are we going to go back to Virginia Beach?" and stuff like that. And it's hard because being a military family, we never know where we're going to go. Mm-hmm. And trying to explain that to him and whatnot was a struggle. But I told him, I said, just look at all the good things. You know, there's different cars here. He loves cars. So learning the different brands or makes, I think, I don't know. Yeah. Was fun for him. And now we're to the point where we've been here for about 6 months. He's like, "I love Germany. I don't ever want to leave." So.
Well, you're like, well, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll be here for a couple of years.
Oh, that's good. A couple of years. I mean, that's pretty awesome. Maybe they'll learn more.
Yeah.
My sister did a Fulbright exchange, and when her kids were really little, like 2 and 3, and so my niece's first language happened to be German. I mean, she doesn't remember any of it now, but it's funny how like kids are so adaptable, you know, like It's like a toddler. I relate everything to my son because he's a toddler, and like that mentality is like they fight it for so long, but then they're like, oh, this isn't half bad. Like it's okay.
Right.
How have your kids surprised you with this big switch?
I think just their flexibility. Getting on the big plane and coming over and just learning new things as we learn new things. We tried McDonald's for the first time over here, so that was like a big thing. It's a lot better than the McDonald's back home. It really is. And they have curly fries here. And so just experiencing all the new culture aspects and just, I mean, we haven't had a whole lot of new experiences because we have been under lockdown once again since the beginning of November. And we're just now at the point where Germany has come out with a 5-phase plan. Schools were the first phase. They opened, I think, March 1st. And then it's like garden centers and bookstores and everything slowly opening back up through the month of March. So hopefully we'll be able to get out a lot more.
That's like perfect for spring. So,
Yeah.
like Easter and like new and like rebirth. So it's like, here you are in this like Renaissance moment. How, with all of that being said, how have you had to get creative to explore the country or to like try things? Sounds like it's been a little difficult.
The good thing about Germany is they have a ton of walking paths. And they're all over. And from what my husband has said is the farmers in which these paths walk through their property, they're required to maintain them by German law, I guess. So we have some right across the street from our base where we live. And really anywhere that you drive, you'll see like it looks like a little driveway, but there's like a blockade where you can't like drive past, but people park along the road all the time and just go for walks all over the place. And on a lot of these walks, they have the beer gardens where you can stop on your walk and have some beer, get a brat, pretzel, stuff like that.
So that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Now tell us a little bit about your job. Like, are you enjoying being at the kids' school? Is this like a new environment for you?
Well, I work in the school cafeteria. So it's just something that I can do while they're at school. I mean, it is pretty hard work. I never realized how much goes into that. But the kids love seeing me during the day. And that's something that when they're in their like mid-20s, they're like, Mom, remember that time you worked at our school in the cafeteria? So they love it.
I love it. I think that's so fun. Like, way to put yourself out there, because that could be
Right.
I mean, that's starting a new job regardless is difficult, and then starting a new job in a new country, like in an industry that you might not really know or understand, like.
Right, because I don't cook that well.
There you are. Like, you are the master chef of the school kitchen. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun experience.
Oh, wait, I think that's so cool that you're just kind of embracing the experience, like, as a whole and putting yourself out there. That's really hard to do, Like, I think we underestimate it sometimes about, like, okay, yeah, you, like, in theory, moving to a new country is great, grand, and it's, like, sexy, but then you get there and you're like, oh, shit, how do I set up cable? How do I get a cell phone? Like, how do I understand these people that don't speak the same language as me? Oh my gosh, like you just, like you think about it, and then when you're there, you're like, oh crap. I mean, I've only traveled, I've never lived in another country, but that's all. It's like, yeah, I'm going to go here. And then you get there and you're like, oh, how do I navigate this? All right. So it's incredible for you to just like be doing all these things and kind of being like a role model for your kids out there, and just, saying, hey, I can do it. You can do it. Let's do it together. That's awesome. I love it.
I was petrified when we first got here. I was the only one with the international driver's license.
Oh my God.
And our car, it took, I want to say like almost 6 to 8 weeks to get here. So we were in our house and we didn't have a car. So we had 7 huge suitcases trying to get, I think it's 12 or so miles away to our new house. So we rented a car. And because of COVID, none of the taxis would allow more than 2, maybe 3 people. And with us being a family of 4, and I didn't want to pay for 2 taxis.
Yeah.
So I put on my big girl pants and I rode in the taxi, which I had never ridden in a taxi before, to Enterprise. And we sat on Google Maps the night before for probably 30 minutes and looked at the route that it would take me to get back to our house.
Oh my God.
But I made it.
You did it. Oh my God, that's awesome.
I did it. I don't think I've driven since, but I've done it.
Oh my gosh. I hate driving in foreign countries.
Yeah.
And just got his license about a year ago here in the States. And because of the first 3 years of our relationship, I had to drive everywhere. And now I'm like, nope, it is your turn the next 3 years. So I feel your pain. Is there anything that you miss in particular about life in the U.S.?
I don't. My husband really misses back home. He misses just the convenience of things, and I mean, obviously Chick-fil-A, because we don't have that here. And I mean, Target, Walmart being open 24 hours, or well, Target's not, but Walmart really is. And everything is closed here on Sundays. So no grocery stores, no Walmart type stores, nothing is open. So getting our American commissaries on base are open. So if we need something, we can go there, which we don't travel to the German grocery stores too often. But just because everything's not normal, but it's comforting to have all the stuff from back home here.
I get that.
And trying new things has been a struggle for my kids. They're creatures of habit and super picky. So knowing what they like, we just go to the commissaries on base.
Yeah, they can kind of explore later, you know. They're already in a foreign country. Well, that's a big ask, right? What do you love most about living in Germany?
It's gorgeous here. It reminds me a lot of Pennsylvania, which I missed the country aspect living in Virginia Beach. But it's just the buildings, and it's just so nice.
Now, are you far from a city center at all?
We're about 20 minutes outside of Stuttgart.
Okay.
So, and Stuttgart is in the southern part of the country.
I don't know.
I think.
Really bad at geography, so I know where Germany is. Don't ask me where. Don't ask me where Stuttgart is. Was there any useless information in your transition that you got and you were people were like, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that, and then you realized you didn't need to do that?
I don't think we got any useless information. I don't think. I wish it came with a handbook. Because one thing that we did that we were like, oh shit, was when we shipped our car, we had no idea that we had to, from the day we left it in Baltimore at the dock, we had no idea we had to go ahead and switch over to a German insurance plan. Oh. Thank goodness my car did not sink to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, because I probably would have been screwed. But when the car finally arrived and I was trying to switch over the insurance, they're like, oh no, you should have done this back in September whenever you put the car on the boat. So that was something I think we probably wish we would have known.
Ooh, any other moments like that? That's a big one.
I mean, not really. The cell phone, we still have our American phones. My husband was given a German phone for work. So if we ever need to use a German number, we'll just use his. But we didn't feel the need to go and get German cell phone plans and whatnot. We still text, we FaceTime we do a lot of Facebook video chats with those who don't have FaceTime. So it's just like being back home.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. You have to change everything. I think that's one thing I would have a hard time with personally is I've had my same cell phone number since I had a cell phone.
Right, me too.
Giving it up, like that's 20 years of history. I mean, my phones have,
Yeah.
but like that, it's like almost more important than my social security number. That's like my number has not changed.
Yes.
So if you've ever known me, you have my number. Let's talk about what it was like becoming a mom and get into like all that, the nitty gritty. Like when you found out you were pregnant with your son, he's the older one, right? If I remember
No,
correctly.
Lily is.
Oh, Lily is. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
And people were giving you advice or insight. Did you ever get useless information when it came to motherhood, or even now, like as a mom in a foreign country? Has anybody ever told you something and you're like, oh my god, that's a crock of shit?
Luckily, I worked in a childcare center for maybe 12 years before I had kids.
Wow.
So I knew a great deal.
I did not.
So, I mean, and the only person that I really know, and I did a lot of babysitting and whatnot, but the only person that I knew that had a baby at that point, I think, was Nicole.
Oh wow.
And we would still hang out weekly and whatnot. But it was more of like oh shit, now I have one.
What do I do?
Because it happened so fast. We met in June, got pregnant in October.
Ooh, yeah, I feel you there.
And I was still in college at the time. So I was in my second to last semester. I knew she was due June 13th, and I had to student teach from January to May.
Oh my god.
So that was more of the struggle of trying to figure out how I'm going to do all of this pregnant.
Oh my god, how did you do it all pregnant?
I don't remember a lot of my pregnancy with Lily just because I had so much going on. My husband and I, we got married then in June. He was stationed at Fort Meade, Maryland.
Uh-huh.
So he was living in Maryland at the time. It worked out where we actually didn't even move in together as a married couple until we had Lily. Because I was still in school. My doctor was in Pennsylvania. He would come up to I was living with my parents. He would come up and like hang out and spend the night at my parents' house like 3 times a week. And that's just how we made it work until she was born. And that's when we moved in for the first time.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of cute, actually. You know, like
Yeah.
a little. Oh, here now we're all a big family. Here we are.
Right.
Oh, do you have any unsolicited advice for moms that you wish somebody would have given you?
Just do you. Do what's best for your family. We like to instill a lot of independence and responsibility in our children just because, I mean, that's how it was for me growing up. I had to take care of my things, and I was doing laundry by myself at like 12. And I feel like it made me a better person because of it. So they have chores now. They do their own laundry. They're not the greatest folders yet, but they'll get there.
I don't think I became good at folding laundry until I worked in retail.
Oh, yeah. And I can't even fold like the retail people fold.
Now I'm like,
trick.
I mean, it's not like even, but it's like done. Anything else you want to share with us about your adventures in terms of her?
I don't know. I think that's it. I mean, we've had a pretty smooth transition. It's been a little hard being in lockdown and being cooped up in our house. And I think that's part of the reason why my husband also misses back home, just because we haven't been able to do a whole lot. But yeah.
I know. I think it's awesome that you guys are on this adventure together. I mean, it's so cool. I mean, life is an adventure, I think.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
It's awesome that
And
you're like...
we can't wait to get out and start traveling. I already have like 2 or 3 trips planned for the summer.
Oh, you just can't wait. Oh, I'm so jealous. Like, we were supposed to... Last year, our plan was to move back to the UK. And part of the reason was the accessibility to Europe and the experiences that we could give our son, as opposed to in the States, there's just so much culture and history in Europe, and
Right.
I wanted to give that to him. So I'm envious, I can't wait to see like all your pictures and stuff. It's going to be so awesome. Well,
I did just find out, I didn't realize you could drive to the UK from Europe.
yeah, there's that tunnel.
I didn't know that. Yeah. It's like, I think that there's a ferry, they said.
Yeah, and a fair, yeah. There's a tunnel, the English Channel, from what I understand. I could be wrong about this. There's a tunnel that goes from the UK to France, and I don't know if I would want to personally drive in that tunnel, but
No,
it would be kind of
I don't think so either.
Where's your?
I mean, if we ever end up being able to visit over there, I don't even think we'll drive, just because of
Yeah.
the other side of the road, the other steering wheel's on the other side.
Talk about my life reoccurring battles with my husband. That's what we fight about, the right side of the road and who does things correctly. Like, oh my God, stop it. Where's your number one travel destination? Like, where's the first place you want to go?
We are going to Paris in October.
Ooh.
My daughter is very big on big cities right now, tall buildings. She wants to go to New York every weekend. So I figured we'll go to Paris for a couple of days. It's only a 3.5-hour train ride.
Oh, the train.
So we'll hit up over there. And I think this summer we're going to go down to, they have, in Walt Disney World, they have a military hotel called Shades of Green. And they also have one, it's in the Garmisch area of Germany, called Edelweiss. It sits right along the Austrian Alps. So we're going to go spend 4 days there. We were supposed to go with my parents. They were going to come visit this summer. But they canceled because German still requires the quarantine whether you have the shot or not. So they went ahead and postponed their trip. So we took it upon ourselves. We're still going to go. We're going to go see the big castle that the Disney World castle was based off of, and go over to Austria for a little bit and have fun.
That sounds awesome. One more question for you. Pro-con question. What do you like most about being a military wife?
Just being able, you just never know where you're going to end up. I grew up as a military brat. My dad was in the Marines. So I really enjoyed the part of my childhood where we did everything as a family, the four of us.
Yeah.
We would make special family traditions. We never had Thanksgiving dinner at home. We always went out to eat for Thanksgiving. So just little things like that. And first, I never thought I was going to marry someone in the military. Because there's not a lot of people in the military in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So now that I am a military wife, I look forward to making those same traditions with my kids.
Oh, I love that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I think you're a rock star. I just think it's so.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's so cool. That's my opinion. So take it for what it's worth. But I think it's so. You're just out there and you're doing it, and it is hard to move multiple times. So I get that, but I think it builds so much character to put yourself in comfortable situations, and that the fact that you're doing that for yourself and your family, and you have those opportunities is incredible. So just a big shout out and much love to you.
Thank you.
Of course. I'm here to celebrate women and all of their different perspectives of life. And I think that any woman who is strong enough to be a military wife is like my hero. So thank you to you and your husband for his service and for your support of him, because we need
You're welcome.
I'm the mom who knows nada. This is the Mama Knows Nada podcast. Thank you so much to Brooke for taking the time out she's 6 hours ahead of me, to chat for a little bit about her life as a mom and military wife. You can find out more about Mama Knows Nada at mamaknowsnada.com. Until next time, take care.